Hey friends, in today's video, we are going to settle it once and for all. What is the best pronunciation for this NPC's name? You want to find out? I got you. Keep watching. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Kay and I love Nintendo games, especially Animal Crossing, and I make Animal Crossing content here on YouTube. And if you like that stuff, subscribe. But today I've got a different kind of video for you guys. I've done a video like this before. It is how to pronounce tricky villager names, probably especially if you are a native English speaker. So I will link that down below if you missed part 1, but I'm gonna do a part 2 today because I was reading the comments of that video and there were a few villagers I missed that you guys wanted me to cover, so we're gonna do that today. So what are my qualifications for making this video? How dare I? I am a professional classical singer in my other life, meaning I sing in many other languages. I've sung in Russian, Italian, German, French, Latin, many versions of Latin, Germanic Latin, French Latin, and regular Roman Latin, and it was part of my college experience and graduate school experience to be proficient in most sung languages and also the enunciation of those languages. Those were two separate courses. You got a French language course, and you also had to take a French diction course, which I think diction is the inappropriate word. I think it should be enunciation course, in which there are, rules on how to pronounce various French words. So I have a fair amount of experience with this, and I like to be as accurate as I can with most things that come out of my mouth, especially if I'm being paid to, But always with these videos, disclaimers, disclaimers. Proper names are pretty much a free-for-all, which means people, places, and things that are capitalized, like your name, names of towns, names, titles of books and things. These are exceptions to the rule when it comes to pronunciation. Like, one person may pronounce their name a particular way, another person may pronounce their name another way because that's how their grandmother pronounced it. So it's kind of slippery and it's a little bit of a gray area. So because of that, I'm mostly going to be referring as these pronunciation suggestions that I'm giving you as accepted rather than correct in most cases. So don't feel weird or bad if you are not pronouncing these the same way that I'm suggesting these to you. It really depends on your personal preference, and if you have a pronunciation that you really like with a villager's name and you've been calling them that forever, go with it. Don't worry about me, okay? Just go with it. That is your business. But here is what I've learned for the second batch of villagers. I said that weird. So I'm going to do some of the villagers that I was suggested to in the last video. And the first one is this villager. Super cute. Has never lived on my island or in my town before. An adorable villager. This villager is one of the cases where I'm going to say there isn't really much flexibility in the way to properly pronounce it because it is a word in French that means beautiful, and it's pronounced beau. If you want to be really accurate, you want to just go with a very short vowel sound, beau. The letter combination E, A, U in French is O, as in eau du toilette, and château, like as in castle. So his name is beau, meaning beautiful. But if you are a native English speaker, you're totally fine saying beau as in bow tie or, Christmas bow or whatever. So you can call him beau, but he is beau and he is beautiful. So next is this villager, and I didn't actually cover him in the last video. I did talk about Cousteau. Now Cousteau has a punny name because he's a Jacques villager, and there was a very famous oceanographer named Jacques Cousteau, and because he's a Jacques villager, he's Jacques Cousteau, and probably the localization team probably thought that was super funny and decided to name him Cousteau. But I do want to talk about this other bird villager. So it looks like it could be Jacques or Jacques. It does have an English equivalent in French, which is the French version of Jacques, I believe, but it is pronounced Jacques. And you want to use the little EJ symbol. I did learn at the International Phonetic Alphabet for the most part, and there is a specification between like the J sound, as in like jack or jump, and the sound that you should use with the name Jacques is in like zzz, just start with that. So Jacques, Jacques. So now we have this villager. This villager was on my island for a few months, and I love her. I think she's so cute. And it is pronounced, as far as I can tell, Deirdre. Now, Deirdre is a name of Celtic origin. Deirdre is the name of a very famous Irish heroine from a story called Deirdre of the Sorrows. It doesn't really have an English equivalent, and it is pronounced Deirdre. So again, the localization team was like, here's a deer villager. Of course she's Deirdre. Of course she's Deirdre. So I have also learned that if you live in the UK, you may pronounce this name Deirdre. That I've never heard that before, but that was said to me in the comments. So in the UK, I've heard it Deirdre, and in the US, it's usually Deirdre. There are variations on the spelling of this name. Some people just drop the R and it's Deirdre. So there are very many variants of this name, but as far as I'm concerned, this villager is Deirdre, and she's fabulous. Okay, we have a new Sanrio villager, and this, again, pronunciation is pretty straightforward because it is a French word, as well as, is it a given name in France? I'm sure there are people named Star in France, but this word literally means star in French, and her name is Itwal. This word means star in French, and there's an accent aigu on the E, which makes the E sound closed, so Itwal. And you want to give your E a little bit of sound at the end if you want to be really accurate. It's a little schwa, which is the upside down E. I keep drawing it in my head, but that's what the symbol looks like, and it's the sound So it's going to be really subtle, so Itwal. If you're a native English speaker, it's probably fine if you say Itwal as her name, but if you want to pronounce it correctly in French, it's Itwal. So let's talk about this villager. I very, very strongly feel in my heart that this is a misspelling. So she's obviously a dessert villager, right? She's got a little strawberry and whipped cream face. So you would think this villager's name is Meringue, but it's spelled merengue, as in like merengue music. So I think that this was a mistake by the localization team, because merengue and meringue only have one letter that's different, that makes them two completely different words. So I believe, and both of these spellings of this word is correct. So I believe the localization team put the name in, did the spell check or whatever, and was like, great. And then it went out as merengue, and it really should be meringue. Now, meringue is a, what is meringue? Meringue is like made of like egg whites, and it's sugary and yummy and a very yummy dessert thing. I'm probably being inaccurate, but because I don't make meringue, but I eat it. So I believe the name of this villager is Meringue. I do think it's a mistake on the localization team on Nintendo's part, and they just never fixed it. So she's merengue or meringue. It's up to you. I mean, it's kind of fun if she's merengue, but also like a dessert villager. It's very weird. All right, the villager of the hour. The villager of the hour. This name comes from Greek mythology. I'm not going to go into where it's from, but Greek names I find to be not super consistent overall when you're talking about transliterating them. So transliterations are going to be what happens when there's an alphabet or a symbol for a sound that we don't use in our language. So everything that you know about the way that Japanese sounds and Russian and the Greek and other languages that use other alphabets that we don't use is transliterated so that they do the best they can at representing what symbols, sounds like means to us in English. So from that information, I want to call this villager Ione. However, that's more of, from my understanding of English being one of the few languages that pronounces the letter I. So usually if I were to see the combination of letters I would maybe more inclined to say Ione or Ion. So there's a town in California named Ion, pronounced Ion, and there is a very, very, very lovely person who I've met named Ion, spells their name like this, and has indicated to me that their relatives from other countries have pronounced this name differently. So the general understanding I've gotten from doing my research is that pronunciations Ione, Ione, Ion, Ione, and any other pronunciations are accepted. In my opinion, I think it's kind of cute that maybe the localization team maybe meant for her name to be Ion, or sort of pronounced Ion because she's got that whole space, constellation, astrology, she's wearing the astro dress kind of thing. And in Japanese, her name is actually not Ione, it's Spica. And Spica is one of the more very large stars in the, what is it? It's the brightest star in the Virgo constellation, and she happens to be a Virgo. So I do maybe think that they meant for her name to be Ion because she's all sciencey, and ions are what we call positively and negatively charged atoms. So as in cations and anions. So I do think maybe that's what the localization team was going for, but I don't know. I have been calling her Ione. I've also been calling her Ione, as in Phoebe, which is also another Greek name. So I've been calling her Ione mostly, but I've also in my head been calling her Ione. It's confusing. You can call her Ione, you can call her Ion, you can call her Ione, and you're probably fine. And I think the bottom line is there's many accepted pronunciations of this name. I did a lot of research, and as far as I can tell, there are a lot of people with this name and they pronounce it all kinds of ways, and all are fine. So it's do what you want when it comes to this name. Okay, here we have the problem child. So here is this, he's not a villager, he is an NPC, and he comes to your town or your island and sells shrubs, flowers, and picks weeds and vegetable starts, and is extremely, extremely adorable little sloth friendo. This name is very, very controversial. So this is what I found out. So this name is an Old Norse name derived from another name meaning air. And it is an Old Norse name used in a lot of Scandinavian countries. Now, Scandinavian countries include Finland, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Iceland. I'm gonna maybe butcher the names of these places. Åland and the Faroe Islands, or I don't know how to pronounce it. Because of the differences in Scandinavian languages, this name may be pronounced a number of ways. So apparently in Sweden, Finland, and the more western parts of Scandinavia, this name is pronounced Leif, as in sort of like in the same pronunciation of safe. And in some parts of Scandinavia, this name is pronounced Life. And if you are an English speaker, you can go ahead and say leaf, as in the homonym of like leaf, as in leaves on plants, and all are generally accepted and fine. There are people named Leaf who say their name is Leaf. There are people named Leif, who say their name is Leif, and there are people named Leif who pronounce their name Leif. All three of these pronunciations are accepted. So it basically comes down to where you're from, what your native language is, and where you are speaking your native language. So Leif and Leif. And I think there's another pronunciation that I'm not even going to attempt that is different than those two, but Leif, also acceptable. There are people in the world named Leif who have this spelling. There's also variations in spelling depending on where you're from. So all three of these pronunciations that I've given you suggestions are accepted. So do with it what you will. And I think that was the intention of the localization team because of course he deals with plants. His name is Leif and he's very cute. I love plants, so I appreciate that his name is Leif. It's a little homonym moment and it's very cute. So that's it. I hope that I answered some questions for you. I hope that I cleared some of that stuff up. Again, disclaimers, this is totally up to you. Totally up to you. Proper names are a free-for-all. You know, my name could be Kay, could be Kai, you know, depending on how I want to pronounce it. So go forth and give your villagers the pronunciation that is right for you. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. And if you're interested in more Animal Crossing content, subscribe. All right, see you later.